Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. You'll notice again a different lineup this week. We're trying to change it around each week. And Alan above had this great idea that what we should do each week now for the foreseeable future is invite different people on that are involved in the Jurgs Cup somehow. Let me just stop that. Fantastic. So, Alan, you'll recognise. Owen, you'll recognise. And we're joined by Niels today. Hi, Niels.
Hi guys,
Niels from Nisse.
lovely to be here.
Yeah, lovely to have you here. Look, just quickly, if people don't know what the Jurgs Cup is, we'll talk a bit about it later. But I'm pretty sure everyone here does know about it. It's a friendly annual guitar building competition. It's been going for 4 years. It's named after Jürgen Zoller, who was just like a great member of the community that used to chat with everyone online, who unfortunately passed away 4 years ago. Hence, why this was started in his honour. And one thing I would definitely say about this sort of idea of a community where everyone chats is, Niels, I've definitely been speaking to you. I was trying to think earlier how long ago I might have come across your channel and been interacting with you, but this is the first time we've spoken actually in person.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
yeah, it is actually. I think it must be at least 3 years or something because I remember also reaching out to you with a couple of questions I had about a build or how to do something, and you always responded really quickly and very nicely.
Oh,
But
very
it's yeah, but no, but we've been talking on and off for a while now. Yeah.
yeah, and I also remember, so like part of the Jurgs Cup is it's voluntary in many ways. To be involved with it, that you're asked to buy a bit of merchandise or make a donation to a leukemia trust. Buying a bit of merchandise, all the profits of that goes to charity. Loads of guitar builders do things for charity. I did something for charity a few years ago, and Niels, you made a really kind donation as well. So I remember of that. So
Yeah, I did.
that's
Yeah.
one thing I love about this community. So look, Jurgs Cup, we'll talk about that later, but this year you're taking part in Jurgs Cup, as we can see from your shirts. The
Hmm.
theme of it is guitar heroes, essentially making guitar based on your heroes' guitars. Can you tell us a bit about what you're working on and what you're doing?
Yeah, I can. So when I saw the theme of this year's Jurgs Cup, I thought this has got to be it. This has got to be the one scratch build that I actually finish. And so since ever since I was 15 or something like that, this guy um, came onto my radar, and I've been an AC/DC fan since the late '80s. And I've probably got every album. I've got every Australian recording at home, so I'm a proper AC/DC nerd as well. Um, and I thought it's got to be an SG. Um, and since I had some wood lying around that I've got from a friend, so old wood that used to be something completely different, like I think it was a medicine cabinet or something, um, which was weirdly made out of two different kinds of wood, pine and oak. I decided to use that to start building the SG that I'm building now, the repurposed wood SG. So the body's more or less, roughly finished, so you can definitely recognize it as an SG. I've got the neck roughly hewn out. I've got the fretboard on and all that stuff, and I'm really quite happy with the progress because I think it looks really promising. At least to me, it does. But I'm still I'm still very unsure of how to continue, and also a little bit scared of what can happen on the way because, like I mentioned earlier before we went live, I'm I tend to be impatient with myself, and that's not a good thing when you're in a workshop. So I'm kind of hoping that I can sort of harness my impatience and just take my time with this, and if need be, then take a few steps back and just look at it for a while, and then take my time with continuing it because I really want to have this work out and become a proper guitar.
If you
Fantastic.
need any tips on procrastinating, please feel free to reach out to me. I am the master at taking my time.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to anytime. Fantastic.
I feel it's an issue that a lot of us have. I mean, I every now and then I get reminders on Facebook of photos of guitars I started building 10 years ago that I still haven't finished. I've realised, Niels, I forgot to say Nisse's Guitars is the name of your guitar company.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm also just sharing your page on the Jurgs Cup website, so we can actually see some of
there you
those
go.
images. Yeah. So is this is the original Oh no, I've got to show.
Yeah, that's the original slab, or the original slabs. And yeah, they were all they didn't look like very much to start with, but when I took off the first few layers with my planer and took the old paint off, there were at least 6 or 7 layers of ancient paint on it. It actually started looking quite nice. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't even realize it was 2 different kinds of woods until I actually had it glued up and sanded it a little bit.
Yeah.
Only then did I realize that the one was definitely pine and the other one I think is oak. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like oak. It's heavy, a lot heavier than the pine. But I think it makes for quite a nice combination. And I love all the little holes in it because it's all the little imperfections, and I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. I do have some. Where have I got it? I do have some old Paduk chippings that I might, so Paduk sawdust that I might use to fill the holes and fill that with super glue and sort of make that look maybe a little bit different. I was also thinking of using epoxy resin with some gold glitter, but that's just an example of me having lots of different ideas about doing something and then not being able to decide on what I want to do, and then sort of tripping myself up with a decision and then going at it too fast and mucking it up. So that's why I'm up and taking a break this week. I haven't really done anything in the workshop apart from starting to shape a little block where I can store my frets before the fret work. But that's all I've been doing so far.
Hey, this is a major problem I have. I build too many tool holders or jigs and I don't finish guitars. So just warning there. Hey, I'm sharing on the screen the fact that there is a Guitar Builders Collective Facebook page, but there's also a specific Jurgs Cup one. I realise I haven't got a thumbnail for that. I would 100% say one of the great things that I've noticed in that group so far is when people come across an opportunity to go 2 directions for what they're making, or basically they're not certain what to do. People are great at feeding back and helping sort of work through the ideas there.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about this community as well, and it's something that I've come to realize about a huge part of the guitar building community. Even if you're not really an active builder or sort of a hobbyist builder like me, who's built kits mainly, it really doesn't matter what kind of a question you've got. But I remember I had a question with the neck and the fretboard and what to do and how to do it. And a couple of you guys sort of answered the question straight away. You had ideas and tips, and nobody, came along and said, "Haha, you're stupid. Why don't you know how to do this?" And don't even try to do it if you're not a master luthier. Blah blah blah. And I've been on other groups that were just like that, sort of luthier groups on Facebook that had quite a lot of sort of unfriendly people on it. But I'm really loving our community because it's just well, for want of a better word, it's really wholesome, and it just feels good to be part of this, I think.
Yeah, I can 100% roll in with you on that because I'm new to building too, right? I may have only just kind of mostly finished my second one, and I've had loads of questions down through the years as well, and people are really supportive. And I found in other guitar making groups, some people can gatekeep the craft and try to stop new people getting knowledge, which is weird because you kind of think, there's room for everybody and everybody should be helping everybody out. And I think that's the great thing about our group. And what was even better for me was that when a bunch of us went to the guitar show in Birmingham and met up for the first time in February, that online kind of, help each other out and be friends. It turns out it's exactly the same in real life when we meet up. It's not just an online thing.
Cool.
Yeah, but also like the reason we do this live stream at what I find a weird time here, 10 p.m. UK time, is because some of us probably will never meet up because we're spread around the world. So doing it this time helps bring everyone else in. We haven't actually said, Nils, you're in Hamburg, in Germany.
That's right. Yeah, it's 10 past 11 here, and still 30 degrees out. So it's it's a balmy summer evening. Yeah.
I think it's the whole of Europe at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's absolutely bonkers.
Hey, I've got a question then about your build. What?
Yeah.
How are you going to finish? What are you going to be? First of all, I'll backtrack. When I
right.
think of ACDC and SGs, I think of red SGs. Is that an incorrect assumption, or is that
No, no, absolutely not. It is. It's also the first SG I bought. The first electric guitar I bought was well, of course, it had to be an SG. And when I walked into the guitar shop in, I think it was 1994, I saw this Epiphone SG hanging on the wall, and it was red. It's a dark cherry red, so translucent nitrocellulose locked lacquer over a mahogany body. And I just fell in love with it straight away. And I didn't, I had the guy in the shop test it out because I was just learning to play, and he tested it out. Of course, he was an absolute virtuoso to me, and it was a total stunner. And it had to be this red SG because that is what I always pictured when I thought of Angus, playing his guitar. But he has famously played black ones and green ones and lots of red ones. And if I'm to believe Mark Evans, the original bassist of AC/DC, in his memoir, he wrote that Angus actually started out playing an old Hagström, a Swedish guitar, which was also red and sort of also had the double cutaway horns. And didn't look quite like an SG, but that seems to have been one of the first guitars that Angus actually played on stage before he switched to the Gibson SG.
Mark's in the chat. He describes it as heritage cherry. I just want to say something that is slightly crazy. My second ever guitar I bought, electric guitar I bought, was a red Epiphone SG.
Oh, cool.
I think I also bought in 1994.
Wow. That is so cool.
When you were saying that, I was just trying to work out in my head. It must have been around then, maybe 95. I've still sort of got it, except I've given it a massive paint job and sculpted onto it now, so it looks completely different. But,
right, okay.
Yeah, classic. So what I was going to say was, does that mean you're going to stain this in the same way?
No. I'm a bit on the fence about staining or painting it. One side of me says, because I've got the I've got parts of the hardware already, and I'm going to go in a direction that is not my usual direction. Usually I'd go gold or chrome or maybe aged chrome, something like that. But this time I'm going to go in the copper direction. So the pickups are going to be this color, and so are the machine heads. I'm not sure if you can recognize that.
Is that a Geiger box?
Yeah, they're all Geiger. Yeah, even the pickups are Geiger. I didn't know they made pickups until I shopped around for pickups with a cover like this, and they had them on the Geiger website. So I went ahead and got those because I was fooling around with the idea of different kinds of paint jobs, and I actually asked ChatGPT to sort of imagine an SG in British racing green or sort of dark emerald metallic green with copper hardware, and the image it spat out was so awesome. And it looked so much like a guitar that I would want to buy. It looked like something that if I'd walk into a shop and I saw that SG hanging on the wall, I'd really just I'd need to have it. Right. And especially the color combination of the bronze and the emerald green or the British racing green is just absolutely stunning. But I'm still sort of, like I said, on the fence about it because I think just leaving it as it is, sort of the raw wood look, and sort of oiling it, and then to protect it a little bit, but doing nothing else, and just putting the hardware on and stringing it up and leaving it as it is, and making everybody realize that it's a guitar made from repurposed woods. That is also an idea that is very it's very appealing.
And that's why I wondered about the staining, because you can still stain it wine red and have that or racing green, I guess, if there's a stain that's that sort of color, still have the different woods come through to see that it is those two different blocks.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, that might be an idea to go with, because the image that was generated was sort of with a paint that was completely covering the wood. You couldn't see the wood at all anymore.
There are some Les Pauls that like the gold tops.
Yeah,
I get it right, where it's solid on top, solid color on the top, but the sides and the back you can still see the wood grain.
Yeah, that's right. So there are lots of well, those are two of the directions I thought of going, and then another idea hit me the other day was that I could just sort of color the part, the top of the guitar, and leave everything just color up to the bevel, and then leave everything else the way it is. Sort of just leave leave the back and the bevels raw wood, and just paint the front. So you can see, guys, I'm really not, I haven't made up my mind at all yet. I'm still very much in open water.
Do you have any offcuts from the wood that you could experiment on and try different colors on?
Yes, luckily I still have plenty. And I also have a whole, because the cabinet the stuff came from was very big, so I've still got plenty of wood left. So yes, I can do lots of experimenting, thankfully. So I think that might be a good way to go, actually, Owen. Yeah.
That's what I did with this. I can't point it properly. This thing, I had some cut-offs from the maple on the top, and I just played around with different stains and sanded it back and did it again, and sanded it back and did it again, and then I had 2 or 3 next to each other. Yeah. And I left them for a few days and then came back to them with a fresh head, not having just made them, because having just made them, you'd probably have a preference, like a favorite child. I came back to them, shuffled them around, and then went, yeah, that's the one I want.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's something I generally should do more often, but it's definitely what I should do. What I should do with this build, sort of try it out and try different stains, and maybe also a proper lacquer to see which one I like best.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent for, if you've got spare bits, to test on it, especially if it's a spare bit that you can sand back after. I was thinking about this just before we came on air for a totally different reason, about the different ways people design things, and the fact that some people definitely will have the design totally planned out before they even put pencil to wood, in this case, before they actually start making anything. Whereas I'm 100% the sort of person that has a rough idea and make it up as I go along and change it. And I know, Alan, with one of your guitars recently, you must have changed the shape of the tops quite a few times till you got it right, until you're happy.
Yeah, my first build, I put it through the planer 3 times till I got, so I had 4 tops in the end. But again, it's because I'm a perfectionist. Even the current Jurgs build, I've just finished the sticking the fretboard on that today for the 3rd neck. I've scrapped it twice.
It's just, everyone's different. There's no wrong way to it. I don't know what. If I'm 100% the sort of person that if something isn't right, I can't scrap it. I need to try and find a way to fix it, and that often involves it becoming totally different, like bodging a bit on the side and changing it all. And obviously, there are certain circumstances where if it's not right because it's functionally not going to work, that makes it harder. But if sometimes it's just the appearance, I just seem to keep going at it. I've got something behind me here that I did recently that I can't really talk about at the moment, but that got done a few times, and as a result, the paint on it is so thick that I don't think it's going to work. It's not drying. It's really disappointing, because it finally looked right, but then I realised I just got carried away. And anyway, enough about me and my way of working. Hey, Niels, what are the things behind you? What are the guitars behind you?
That's just a couple of the guitars that I've built over the last couple of years, this one here is an example of what happens when I just play with an idea that I have, and I do have a soft spot for Scandinavia and Scandinavian tradition, and that's how this guitar came about, because I wanted to This was for the Great Guitar Build-Off 23, I think. And I wanted to make a Christmas-themed guitar, but sort of a Scandinavian Christmas-themed guitar. So the colors are there. So you've got the red, you've got the green, you've got abalone fret markers and abalone binding on the side, and of course a comfort carve because I've got a belly. But what I built into the guitar was what you would call in Danish Nisse dør. And that means, well, a door for the Nisse. You can actually open it, but the only thing you're going to see is the electronics inside. So it's just the battery inside. But what happens is, if I had a cable down here, I do have a cable. I'm not sure if it's going to come out on screen, but the idea behind this little door is that the Scandinavian Nisse are Christmas elves who sort of, move into your home around Christmas time, and they help out Santa Claus deliver the presents, because obviously he's got his hands full. He's got so much to do that he needs some help. And these little guys, they sort of live in your house or your apartment during Christmas time and help out. And in Scandinavia, they put up little doors along the skirting boards, and sometimes put little presents in front of these doors, or put little ladders down, or little boots or something like that. So it looks really cute around Christmas time, and we do it too. And this is what happens when you stick the.
That is so cool.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
there you
amazing.
go. The light turns on.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So whenever you're playing the guitar, you know that Christmas elf is at home and he's listening to what you're doing. So you better not make any mistakes. No, just kidding, obviously. But I tried to get the headstock to look a little bit like sort of an elf's hat. Not sure that worked out, but I got lucky because I did go very, very thin up here, and I actually had to glue it because when I screwed in the first screw of the tuners, I heard a little crack, and I thought, "Ooh, that's not good." So I had to glue that up, but luckily it's held, and it plays nice. Yeah, it was a really, really fun project, and I'm just incredibly happy that it worked out the way it did.
That is very cool.
Thank you.
I haven't scrolled back all the way through your Instagram, but I've linked your Instagram in the description below, so anyone that's watching can go on, and they might be able to find more photos of that. I can see there's lots of other guitars.
Yeah, I also have a full build video of the. I think I have full build videos of all the guitars up on YouTube. I might have been a bit negligent about one or two of them, especially the earlier ones, but this one I made for my son because he. Well, I asked him around Christmas time what he would like to have for Christmas, and he's 19 now, and he was 16 then. If you've got kids, you know that the older they get, the more difficult it is to get them presents. Because sometimes it feels like they've got everything, and then you think you know exactly what the kid likes, and then turns out that thinks, oh no, Dad, that's totally boring. I don't like that stuff anymore. But in fact, we had a really lovely conversation about guitars, and he knows how much I love to build guitars, and he actually requested this one, and I said, okay, if it's going to be an SG, what color do you want it to be? And he said, can you do a black silver burst? And I said, I don't know. I'll give it a try. And he wanted a horizontal burst, which I thought was unusual, but
it looks cool though.
Yeah, this is how it turned out. And the idea behind this was the story that I came up with in my mind was that this is the Silver Surfer SG. That's what I like to call it, and it represents the devourer of worlds. Is the black, sort of moving through the universe, devouring everything in its path. The silver, obviously being the Silver Surfer, his messenger, traveling through space and time, leading him to the planets that he has to or wants to devour. And so I've got the Silver Surfer up here,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and to switch between the pickups, I've got you can choose between save and destroy.
Oh, that's very cool.
That's brilliant.
I love your little. I love these little details. I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. And I
It's a
love. I love the fact there's some sort of concept or story behind what it looks like. But for something that
yeah.
I appreciate, a horizontal burst isn't a tradition, so it's unique anyway. But then to have that story to it, I think adds another little element to it that I really like.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun making it, and it was all the happier for it because our son requested it, and he was really happy with the outcome. So that made me happy, of course. So that was great. Even though he still doesn't play the guitar, but he he likes it still.
Yeah.
So I guess that's good.
And is he a comic fan, or is that just your take on it?
He is a comic fan. He's not much, not as much of a nerd as my wife and I. But he does enjoy comics. He does enjoy especially the Marvel comics. And I think we've infected him a little bit to be sort of wary of everything DC apart from Batman. But that's very much me because when I grew up, Spider-Man and Hulk and the X-Men and Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four and all that, they were all fantastic. And everything that came out of the DC universe was always a little bit boring apart from Batman, because Batman was my all-time hero.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys agree or if you're into the comic stuff.
Sort of tangent. I recently watched the new Superman movie and wasn't very impressed, but I needed to get away from everything today, and it's been quite hot here. And someone pointed out the cinemas are air conditioned.
Yes.
So the only film I could get into that at the time I wanted was the new Supergirl film. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So just unexpectedly good, or in my opinion, obviously.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm all for new experiences, especially cinema wise. And I think from what we've seen in the trailers, they're taking sort of an unusual approach to the story. So I think it might be good.
Yeah, it was because it's not what you expect. It's set off world and other planets. It doesn't have just standard the Supergirl and Superman are stronger than everyone, so how on earth do you defeat them kind of thing. Yeah, it was quite fun. And these, I thought the fight scenes were cool.
But okay, cool.
Also, I was after a no-brainer morning in somewhere that was cool, and that worked. So maybe that added an extra element to why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it probably did, yeah.
Yeah, because I really didn't like the Superman film. There you go.
I think the last Superman film I watched was Batman versus Superman, and yeah, that is a while ago, and even though Batman was in it, no, it didn't do anything for me at all.
A particularly terrible film.
Yeah.
Terrible film, but closest to the Arkham Knight series of games in terms of fighting we've ever seen from Batman.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. What's with is that a Revstar, the blue one?
The blue one? No. Yeah. That is that's also one of mine. And this is actually the second one I put together, and I'm a big fan of muscle cars. And one of my favorite muscle cars is a 1968 Ford Shelby Cobra in Pelham blue with Arctic white racing stripes. So since I can't afford the car, I thought I'd build a guitar to honor it. Well, it's obviously it's Pelham blue. It's got Seymour Duncan Jazz and JB pickups, which are awesome. They are really fantastic, and I bought them years ago, so they were still affordable. They're not really affordable at the moment. I've got as much as I could. I got in chrome. I've even got the the pinup girl truss rod cover, and the dice for the that you would usually hang from the mirror. You've got them as tuning knobs. So this is the the 68 special. That's what I call it.
And that's just your second build.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
To be fair, it is a kit. I didn't.
It still looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love that finish. I'm a massive fan of racing stripes.
That's so cool. And that's why I thought it was a Red Star, because I could only see one half of it on the camera and the stripe running up the middle.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And I love playing it too. It's but a lot of that is due to the pickups, because they sound good through almost anything. So they're absolutely fantastic.
Oh. So in that case, while we're there, tell us about the yellow one.
This one?
The Flying V type.
Yeah. This was... I came up with this because I think for some reason I decided I needed to do something that was a little bit removed from the classic body shapes, because I've done 2 tellies. The first telly I did is upstairs still. And I've done the sort of Les Paul shape, the one with the racing stripes, and I did the SG, and they're all sort of classic shapes. And I thought, I don't have a Flying V yet, so I might build one. And I thought, what can I do to make it look as cool or as ostentatious as possible? So I thought, okay, it's got to be gold glitter. And I didn't do much to it, I have to admit. I just I kept the stock electronics that came with the kit, but I did add a cream binding to the side all around, which was a horrifying experience, because if you go down here, you can see that they've got this extra little curve, which the original Gibson V's don't have. Getting the binding around that corner was a terrifying experience, but I made it work, and it's really nice. It's very, very light, and it's very unusual compared to all the other guitars that I have, because it's apart from the Explorer, the only shape that isn't sort of the classic shape. There's not much of a story behind it, other than that I wanted to build one that was out of the ordinary for me. So it had to be a gold Flying V, and that's what it turned out to be.
I love the fact I love how you're experimenting with different finishes on them all as well.
Yeah.
Does anyone know where that shape that's at the bottom of your V? I recognise that.
This one.
Someone just purchased a guitar. You know what that means? Yeah, what is that? I recognise that shape from somewhere. I'm just on Google over here.
Yeah.
What is that shape? I feel like I've seen James Hetfield play something like that.
It might have been on a Jackson or something like that. Does he play Jacksons?
I'm afraid I don't know his collection enough. I think it's just started raining outside.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff happening. I keep looking up. Something's happening outside. It's either really windy or suddenly rainy. So I got put off there. Yeah, but I love that shape. Hey, look! I didn't really go into the Jurgs Cup too much early on, because I wanted to get on to chatting to Neil. But before we go back to Neil, let me just share along the bottom here how you can enter the Jurgs Cup. So go and check out jurgscup.com. All the info's on there. But essentially, the build along this year is this idea of building a guitar inspired by your guitar hero. You don't have to do that. That's just there as the theme to encourage you if you need a starting point. And the idea is that you'll build something and share with everyone, like on Instagram, in the Facebook group, or particularly on the website, the Jurgs Cup website. So, because if you sign up, you can set up a profile, you can share things on there. If you want to be part of the actual competition element, you need to share things on there. And then when the competition comes to an end in October, I'm saying October, I've got what's the actual date here? When it comes to an end, then November, then the 3 judges, Mick, Corey and Paul, are going to be able to look over everything and allocate some prizes to people. But the main thing is we're there to support each other through building and just sort of sharing ideas, sharing what we're doing. You don't have to be like that involved with the competition element if you don't want to, but it's brilliant. It's there. This is the first time it's probably been there. And the Jurgs Cup Facebook group was only set up like a month ago, 2 months. No, it was set up in April. I've lost track of time, 3 months ago. And there's already 300 people on it, which is fantastic. Yeah, so all you need to do is sign up on the website, buy a bit of merch or make a donation just to make it official. All of that money goes to charity. I think Corey's still in the chat. Corey, do you know, have you got a running total of how much you've raised so far through people buying merch? Because it's amazing. I'll put that out there and wait a moment for him to respond. That'd be brilliant. I also remember, Niels, I think... Oh, here we go. So, yeah, Left-Handed Guitar is saying it was similar to James Hetfield's Snakebite guitar, which I think is Explorer with that kink in it. And Niels, do I remember you were involved with the Great Guitar Build-Off at some point?
Yes, I was. I took part in 2 of them. I entered in the first time in 2022, and then the second time in 23, and that was it. There were no more after that. But I'm very sad about my 2022 entry because the guitar I built there, which was the Cherry Blossom guitar, the Sakura PRS style, I sold it, and I wish I hadn't because I kind of miss it. It was also an unusual build. I don't know if you've got pictures there because I do have some on my Instagram. So if anyone wants to have a look at the Cherry Blossom guitar that I built for the Great Guitar Build-Off in 22, please go and have a look at it. And it was it's one of those moments where you realize that don't sell stuff. No, there you go, there it is. Yeah, yeah. I missed that one.
I remember watching the videos of that one. It's quite. I like the pickups on it as well as the actual. Is that pyrography?
It is. Yeah, it is. I decided I wanted to try myself out, and I just sanded off all the sealer that it had come with, and then went to town with a soldering iron, and that's how it turned out. I
do remember when I was doing my A-levels at art, so I was still at school doing art, my art teacher telling me how much he regretted the fact that he sold some of his paintings to a local dentist, and they were on display in the dentist's wall in the reception area, but then the dentist moved and then he'd lost track of his artwork.
Oh, God. Oh, that's terrible.
He really wanted it back, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but hopefully it's gone to someone who's making music on it.
You see, and that's the problem. I don't think it is. It is somebody who's very much in touch with music, but he's more on the producing side of music. And he saw the guitar, and he was all, he was full of praise, and he absolutely loved it. And that was one of the reasons why I said, yeah, come and have a look at it. And I did put it up on eBay, of course. So that's how he caught track of it in the first place. So it is my fault, of course. But I know because he said so that he's just got it hanging on his wall as a display piece, which is kind of cool. But I'd much rather have it here to be able to play it, and also because it's kind of the first time I tried something like pyrography, and was happy with the outcome. And also, lipstick humbuckers don't come around too often, and that is something that I just miss the look of the thing around the place. But every guitar gone makes room for another guitar. So my wife is watching and listening, by the way, so that's all right.
Yeah, it's hard. Is it hard getting rid of stuff? Everyone's different. I used to have this when I used to make videos before on YouTube a lot, and I used to make paintings, and I used to be in a band and write songs, and it was kind of a bit like once they were done, for me that was it. I didn't care about it anymore. That was the moment. Like if we recorded a song, that was it. I didn't need to. I would be so engrossed in being in a studio, doing overdubs, recording things, getting it all perfect, and then once it was recorded, it was like all forgotten about. On to the next one. But at some point, maybe I'll look back and regret that I don't have a lot of those things anymore.
Yeah, I think it depends a lot on, because it sort of correlates to what you said earlier about, you know, somebody actually making music with it. Like I've sold 2 guitars. The second one was the Purple Rain restoration thing I did, where I turned the sort of the ancient Stratocaster copy into the purple one, and that one went to a guy in Munich who just loved the look of it, and but he's not a professional musician, but he makes a lot of music on it. He's got his music on Spotify and everything, and he really wanted to have it to make music with. So that is one that I don't miss, because I know, you know, somebody's putting it to good use and enjoying it, and for, you know, for what it was made for. Because while I really enjoy, you know, putting, you know, different finishes on guitars and experimenting with looks and things like that, I also enjoy guitars for, you know, the purpose they were made for, which is to make music. And if somebody just has it hanging on a wall, it kind of defies the purpose. So I think it's a shame if people just buy guitars to hang them on the wall and not make music with them. So that's why I'm happy with the one that went to music, and I'm not happy with the one that went to, I forgot where it went, but, you know, it's not being used. That's a shame.
I think what you've said for me is important. I like the fact that I make something and someone else is using it to make music. I don't like the fact that I make something, I try and put it up for sale, no one buys it, and it sits in a cupboard, to the point where sometimes I forget I've even got it. Like, because like I said, I always move on to the next build and I kind of forget the old build. And the thing that I find really hard is I've known this happen to 2, maybe 3 guitars I've made now, which is I've seen them I've made them. So one of them I made and someone bought it and then they sold it on. Didn't mind that too much, but 2 that I made specifically for people, to their design, custom design, got sold on, and I found that quite hard. I felt like that was made specifically for you, but I actually know in both those situations the person selling on needed money. They're in a situation where they just needed money. But that did feel kind of weird at the same time.
Yeah, I think these people who buy instruments and hang them on their walls are they're awful people, right? I mean, who would do such a thing?
Yeah, but at least we know that. At least we know with you that one of them probably gets played.
Yeah, maybe 1, maybe 2.
Hey, I saw a picture of you, Owen, playing outside, looked like at a festival in the rain the other day.
Yeah, so we same weather as you guys, right? We had 3 or 4 days of dry weather, and this big festival stage got built, and there was a load of acts on it, and people sitting there watching gigs and having ice creams. And then the day that I had to gig, which was the last day of the festival, the skies opened up and soaked the stage and soaked every piece of equipment I had. It took 3 days for my stuff to dry out, and then the day after, this heat wave started, and we've had a heat wave for a week. So just that tiny little window where we got up on stage, we got soaked. But it was fine. It was, you know, it's Ireland. People are used to it. We had like 3,000 people in front of the stage, actually having ice creams in the rain, making
amazing.
So it was fine.
It definitely sounds like. Sorry.
So I was going to just change the point. Corey's put some comments in, just saying that they've raised so far $770 Australian through the merch alone, and there's been 312 people join the Facebook group and 74 registered builds on the website. And just to point out, because this always happens, even happens with the Great Guitar Build-Off. For those of you that don't know, the Great Guitar Build-Off is sort of the inspiration for this idea of community build-along. It's, for me, it's where I met Jurgen and where I met a lot of the people that I talk to all the time. It was a yearly build along by Crimson Guitars that doesn't happen anymore, so we don't need to dwell on that. But it was a really, I felt, supportive, friendly atmosphere. So it's great that has transferred over now. Corey reckons 99% of the people that are involved have come from watching Minehouse Studios, Paul at Minehouse Studios, who is involved with sort of promoting it and being one of the judges. So that's brilliant. So that kind of helps build up the community. But it's like, hopefully it will just be its own community, its own thing. And it's great that you have people like Paul that just inspire people to go out and build. That's fantastic. Yeah, so 74 people registered building along at the moment. Doesn't matter if you don't finish. You know, it's an aim, but quite often people don't finish. Things get in the way. It doesn't matter. But if you don't finish, don't worry. Everyone will still be in the community to see you through, even if it gets finished in a couple of years' time. It'd be brilliant to see what happens.
Yeah, I had to put my Jurgs 3 on hold to start the Jurgs 4. So, so Owen, now you finished the second one. Are you doing something for Jurgs 4?
I am not. I'm just not going to have time. Especially the Jurgs 4 is ending in October, which really isn't far away. So, like, if you think about it, we're pretty much into July now. So there's July, August, September, October. I'm away for a lot of August, and then I get into silly season at work. So I'm just not going to have time. But I am going to start working on my own next build. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. I'm looking at a pile of wood next to me here. I have 4 bodies, 3 necks actually, about 8 tops and about 10 different fretboards to pick from. So I kind of have ideas what I want to do, but I was talking to James from Yard Guitars about what's next and knocking out some ideas in my head because he's really good because he thinks very unconventionally about guitars. He doesn't automatically gravitate towards Telecaster, Stratocaster, Les Paul. And that's good because I don't want to default to something that's there before. So yeah, I don't really know what's next, but I know that I want to spend a bit of time planning it, which is why it's going to be even later for me to get a start than it would be now. So I look forward to Jurgs Cup 5. I'll definitely do that one. And then I'll be one of the people who's registered on the website then as well. But even though I'm not taking part in Jurgs Cup 4, I'm still going to make a donation towards the charity because I think that's the reason why we're all here and why we're all doing it. It's a damn good cause. And I think a lot of people who are coming even from Paul's see the amount of charity work he's doing and the impact it's having. And there's no reason we can't be part of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. As Corey just said, keep plugging away. Deadline is for prizes, but you can keep building beyond it. And also, as you've sort of pointed out there, Owen, I've also signed up. I think I'm in a situation where I'm not going to get something built, but you don't have to be a guitar builder. You might just be interested in guitar building to follow along and comment and support and encourage people. And
yeah, I really believe in that.
You may not be able to give someone a tip on how to make a neck, but if they're stuck on what color to paint it, you'll probably be able to give some opinions on that.
There you go. And you know what? If you're in the group and you just like watching people build and you want to help out, you can help with advice like that. But what will be awesome as well is, instead of spending $10 or €5 on a cup of coffee at Starbucks on Saturday morning, throw it into the charity. It's the second you spend it, you forget about it. It's gone out of your pocket. You don't even notice it. But if everybody in the group, there's 300 people, if everybody chipped in a $5, that's €1,500 straight away, right? So I think there's loads of support that people have already given, and I think there's a little bit more we can all give too, which would be nice. But I'm looking forward to seeing what your Cup 5 brings. I know 4 isn't over, but I'm curious to see what 5 brings. I know the theme is optional. I know the theme is completely optional, but like the last couple of themes, I don't work well with themes. I'll put it to you that way because I want to build something for me. I don't want to build something that fits into a theme.
Yeah, as Corey always points out, though, the theme's just a guideline. Yeah, it's just there for inspiration. I mean, I can't remember which Jurgs Cup it was. It might be the second one. Was that the one where you build with what you've got, and then 3 years later, or 2.5 years later, I've got these one-string guitars that I'm making with Toby that we're selling, and that came out of a bit of inspiration that I made 2 very similar things out of stuff I had for the Jurgs Cup, sold it for charity, and then now I'm making them, and I've got a feeling that I might be making a lot more of them and not making guitars anymore and just making those. So it's led to something unexpected. So
I chambered this based on the hollow body / chambered in the Jurgs Cup 3. And it turns out I really like chambering instruments, and I wouldn't have thought about that before. So I think everything I do from now on is going to be chambered. So that was a nice unexpected bonus for me. So kind of fitting the theme, even though I didn't intentionally make it to fit the theme, which is nice. And it turned out just to be something fun and extra to do on your builds as well, which is nice.
So Owen, if you're talking to James, does that mean you're going to dig the Fox Alien out and do something CNC on the next build?
I've kind of set myself a goal talking to James, because my CNC has been gathering dust since I built it, other than just doing some test cuts. And I set myself a goal by the end of the year to cut out a body shape. And I mean just roughly the outline, because there's still a big learning curve to even do that. And I think if I can get that across the line, then it'll remove the fear of the unknown of the machine, because I'm really proficient now with the 3D printer, and I'm really proficient with the laser. But the CNC, I have just seen some horror videos where people are snapping bits and making shit of, pieces of wood that they've just spent 300 euros on. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there, because I really like the wood I bought. But yeah, we'll see. So if I can get it to do some really simple stuff, hello, buddy. If we can get it to do some really simple stuff, I'll be happy with that by the end of the year, and then work on getting more intricate bit by bit.
Nice. If you don't know James from Yard Guitars, in the video description of this, there's a link to our archive. So obviously, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see all our old live streams. But the archive playlist isn't all of them. It's just the ones where we've had a guest on very specifically to talk for an hour and a half about what they do, which is what we used to do before we started this weekly live stream, which is a bit more laid back. And now we've got, I'm sure I'm going to set up another playlist of Jurgs Cup related builders as well. But in that archive, there's an interview with James, and actually Paul from Minehouse Guitars is there, because they're friends. So they're both on at the same time. Definitely worth checking out. Hey, I've got a sort of random question, Niels, because I've been thinking about this recently. Have you got a favourite tool?
A favourite tool?
Yeah.
I think I do. Yeah. Hang on.
Nice. I like that laugh just for you. Hey, nice.
Shinto. This is by far my favorite tool, because you can do such a lot of stuff with it. You can really go to town on a piece of wood and take off a lot in a fairly short period of time. It's not as invasive and terrifying as a router or a power plane, which I also have, and it's great. It saves a lot of time, but it's not a touch on this. This is this was a game changer for me a couple of years ago when I got it, yeah, I wouldn't want to miss it. So it's the Shinto Rasp is my favorite tool.
I feel like when I'm using one, I have power over trees.
Absolutely.
It feels like you can totally do what you want with it. Do you ever wear a glove? I do it without a glove, and I lean on it, and I feel like cutting into my hand. I feel like I'm really working here. Absolutely.
No, I never wear gloves when I use the Shinto. I wear gloves when I use paint and oil and stuff like that. But when I use the Rasp, I never use gloves, and I use it exactly like you described, just like that. Yeah.
I got the second Shinto at that show we went to in Birmingham. So Crimson Guitars there's two Shinto Rasps. Not a lot of people realize this. There's the standard one, which is coarse and fine, and then there's another Shinto Rasp which is fine and super fine. And I picked that up at the from Crimson. And when I was carving the Les Paul, I did most of the top carve with the main Shinto, and I swapped to the second one with the super fine side. Holy crap! What a finish! It's really good. And it takes away very little material, but you have to get one.
I'm gonna have to spend more money. I don't want to spend more money. Hey, listen, I have to apologise. Last week I put out a question. I wanted everyone to tell me where they were. This week, why don't we do that? What's your favourite tool? Let me know in the comments. But I have to apologise. I've had a crazy week, which hopefully I'll be able to talk about in a few months' time. Well, it's been crazy. And as a result, I've noticed there's people that have responded in the comments to last week's live stream saying where they are, and I haven't responded back to you. So I hope I'll have a chance soon, but apologies. Lots of people talking about their Shintos. Hey, the reason I mentioned that though is I was talking to someone the other day, and I said that I've got a favourite ruler, and it would surprise me if most people that make things don't have their favourite ruler. And I got looked at like I was a mad person. So I didn't want to go as far as asking you, Niels, if you've got a favourite ruler.
I can show you my favourite ruler if you like. It's this. It's not, well, you know, I don't think ruler's the right word for it, but I just
that would
love using this because it's got the lip on the side, and you can just, well, you've probably got one of these as well. So, I mean, it just makes measuring stuff a lot easier, and you can get a straight line every time. I just love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yes, I think that is a totally legitimate question. But can I just very quickly circle back to the question about hanging guitars on walls? I didn't mean that in any bad way at all, because if I took you upstairs to my study, you'd see that my walls are full. So at times people wonder if we have any other interests than sort of, you know, buying guitars and hanging them on walls. So yeah, I do plenty of that as well. But they do get played.
There's no more noble pursuit than buying loads of guitars and having them all over your house.
Exactly.
Yeah. My aim is to have no wall space left.
I think that is a very, very lovely aim to have. Absolutely.
I think your wife is giving you grief in the comments as well.
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, my wife is my greatest supporter, and I am eternally grateful to have her by my side because. And I'm not saying this because she's watching. I would say this if she weren't watching too. But
Blink
she
if you're
actually.
in danger.
Okay, I'll give you a secret signal. But no, if the logo behind me was a birthday present. In fact, this whole little workshop down in the cellar here was a birthday present for my 50th birthday from my wife. And a lot of the guitars that are hanging on the walls are actually. If they're not a present from her, she encouraged me to buy, you know, said guitar. So she completely supports this incredibly nerdy and expensive hobby of mine, which is absolutely fantastic. So
amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing. Well, that is a perfect note to end on. Amazing.
100%.
We are all about community supporting each other, and it's great that you've got that in your own house. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to put out there, if anyone is watching who is involved in the Jurgs Cup and wants to just come on and chat, you don't have to come on and show us what you're building necessarily. It doesn't have to be finished. You could just talk about your ideas, or you could talk about why you're building guitars, or you can just come on and talk about a theme. I'm too tired now, Alan, to go into. Alan suggested we talked about Fender and Tom, and I can hear thunder now.
Oh my goodness!
Something's happening outside.
Anyway,
yeah. So
yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you like in the Jurgs Cup and you just want to come on and talk, this live stream is meant to be really laid back. Anyone can come on that wants. You don't have to go into lots of detail. You can just be there for a chat, and it's cool to just open it up in whatever way we can. Also, I noticed I didn't really share, but. Corey put a comment in which I thought was really good, which is he hopes that not only do people build along in the community when the Jurgs Cup's happening, but that in between time when it's not happening, that the community keeps going. And I'm pretty sure it will do. So don't forget, check out the Facebook group. You can find the Guitar Builders Collective chat over on Instagram where we share stuff as well. I've put links to Niels in the video description. Niels, to your YouTube channel and your Instagram.
Oh, thanks very much.
Myself, Owen, and Alan, I haven't put. It's just too much work each week to put everyone in. Sorry. Alan is Rough Boy Guitars over on Instagram. Owen's Entropia Guitars. I'm Devlin Sons. Great. All right. I'm going to end there because otherwise I'll just keep talking. Thank you, everyone, and see you all next Friday.
Thanks very much.
See you guys. Take care.
Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.